Hello, Smite fans, and welcome to episode 26 of the Gank Right Lane podcast. Today, we're gonna be talking about what happened in week 2 of the SPL Phase 2. We're gonna be giving you our power rankings. We're gonna be giving you our week 3 preview. And we're gonna be doing a new segment that we're calling highs and lows until we can come up with a better name.
For now.
Yeah, it might stick that
Maybe
way. I
it
don't think
might
it's that
stick.
bad of a name.
It might stick.
Maybe.
We'll see
Most
what
likely, yeah.
happens.
There's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution. So that is probably what
Exactly.
it'll be called for the rest of time.
What my grandma used to always say.
Yep. Anyways, how are you doing today, John?
Good, man. How you been?
I've been all right.
Good. Got your Subway today?
I did. I didn't
What
get it
was on the
last week.
sandwich? What meat was on the sandwich?
It was Italian BMT, so it was ham, salami, and pepperoni.
Sounds good. I could use me one of those right about now. But
Yeah.
I think Subway closes at this time. At this time of night.
Probably. I'm trying to
To
remember
keep
when
all
the
the
one up here
hoodlums out.
closed. I know it's after 8. It might be like 10.
Oh, I might have time.
Maybe.
Just kidding. There's no way.
There's no way. Oh yeah, because you're an hour later than me. There's no way we're finishing this in an hour.
Yeah. I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah.
We got a decent amount to talk about this week, right?
Yeah, there's some stuff.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Starting off with what our week 2 overcap recap overlook.
Yeah, sure. Talk about what already happened before we talk about what
Yeah.
we think will happen in the future.
Yeah, we're still naming this segment
Yeah.
too.
So I gotta say, I forgot the Ravens were good. In my defense, I hadn't seen them play like not dog shit since John F. Kennedy was president. So
Yeah, 2013
yeah.
it feels like. I mean, who said they're going 2-0 this week? I said they're coming out
You did.
2-2.
I should have, but it was funny to shit on them while you were really high on them, and B, I forgot because it's been so long since we've seen them do anything at all.
Keep using your excuses.
Yes, I
I
feel
just
like
want to see.
those
I
are
want to
two
see.
solid excuses. I don't know. They didn't stop you though, so good job. We were on the
You
same
had him
page with
power
everything
ranked.
else though.
You had him power ranked 8th last week.
I did.
Don't
I
remember
remember they
that.
got shit on in both games. And
Right.
the Hounds also played the Warriors and lasted 20 minutes longer. That was basically the whole thought process there.
You got a point there.
And also, I forgot the Glads were really bad. Like really,
Yeah, dude.
really very bad.
You're just forgetting a lot right now.
I am. Memory's gone.
I've been trying to convince you for weeks now that the Glads aren't good.
Yeah.
And here we are. Finally, week 3. Now you learn.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I
I
thought the Dragons were for real because they made it to another tournament final. And they went 5 with them. Probably should have won it, honestly.
Definitely should have.
So
and now they're one of the worst
raised
teams.
my opinion on them. I mean, I don't know. I genuinely think they might have like a top 3 duo lane in the league. But the rest I think are pretty bad. No, the Glads. I think the Glads might have a top 3 duo lane in the league.
Oh, okay. I thought we were selling the Dragons for a second. I was like, "There's no way you shit on vote all the time, man. You can't be saying that."
Dude,
Oh,
I almost drafted him in the second round in our fantasy draft.
Vote?
That was my plan. Because going into it, the top carries in terms of what's it called? In terms of the fantasy points, were like very clearly Vote and Netroid. And so I was gonna go with one of them in the second round. And then I realized I didn't mind getting any of the carries. Like all 8 of the carries I was fine with getting. And there were other rules where there were players I just really didn't want, so I pivoted to a jungle, which I thought was the thinnest role. And then Oath and Kirby played really well.
Yeah. Looking back, I would have done a million things different on that, but
yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. No, like I was Originally my plan was to get Vote or Netroid in the second round, and then I realized I was just totally fine ending up with any of the carries, and then I ended up with Stewart, and I was like, Pog.
Now you got your dual land on the same team.
Yep.
All right.
Top 3 line in the league. Although their stats
crazy.
sure don't look like it so far, but I don't really think
Yeah,
it's their fault.
crazy. You'll learn eventually that that's not true either. But
I mean,
it clearly
Jake and
takes you a
Stewart are
while.
top players in their roles, in my opinion.
I'm gonna save that conversation for another time.
Okay.
I don't feel like getting into that. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, what you
What?
think Stewart's like the 6th carry, and you think Jake's like the 3rd or 4th support,
Probably somewhere around there.
and I have
I
him
haven't
at
put a lot of
like
thought
2
into
and
it.
3 or 2 and 4 or something like that.
Something insane-o.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
you Stewart's on a dog shit team, and his stats are good.
Again, I'm not having. I don't want to have this conversation right now.
We don't need to talk about how awesome Stewart is by the fact that he's on a bad team for the 100th podcast in a row. That's fair.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Okay, you want to walk through the games this week? Were you able to catch all of them? I know we watched the
I
what did we watch
watched
the Kings lads?
Saturday. I don't know if I've seen anything else.
Okay. Well, so not much other than expected from Leviathan's Hounds.
Yeah. Leviathans are a good team. And
Hounds looked really good in game 1 when they won. That didn't last long.
Hounds won in game 3.
What the hell am I thinking of?
Did they win game 1 against the Ferryman? Yep, that's what you're thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Well, they looked all right at some point in time. I was actually worried watching the Ferryman set. I was like, wow, the Ferryman are getting manhandled.
Yeah.
And then what even changed here? No, Sobek. Cyclone started doing things. Paul showed up to the game. It was more so the Hounds beat themselves. I don't think the Ferrymen have necessarily been sticking out in any particular manner.
Yeah. I don't know. They kicked the Levi's ass.
Yeah. They're just... I mean, and again, it wasn't like some sort of... It wasn't flashy, I didn't think.
Right. They just played a good game of Smite.
They were just playing Smite. Against, honestly, the biggest pop-off player that whole set was Shinto. He was going crazy.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter.
That's been true in every set Shinto's been in so far.
Sure, he's playing different this set, or this phase.
Really
I don't know what it is. But I know you've got the stats for that, which I'm sure we'll get into later.
There is a non-zero chance he made the highs and lows.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I would have guessed that. So what were some standout plays, standout teams, standout players, anything that caught your eye this weekend?
Levi's shitted the Warriors. They pooped in their pants for them.
Wow. Literally. I saw it myself.
They beat their ass.
Yeah, what even happened here? Like, were these some of the games that you watched, or?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened here. What happened is that the Warriors brought in genetics so they could have a more consistent style that would work when their regular style isn't working. And then what they did is their regular style wasn't working, so they just kept doing it. But instead of having Jake, who works way better with that style, they just had genetics, so it kept not working.
Wow.
That's what they did. Pagon was like 2 levels down trying to steal the enemy's red. Because that's what the Warriors like to do. And then it didn't work because Jake wasn't randomly there to save him because he also wanted the enemy's red. Like
bad
straight up, I
macro
lost
play.
I lost so much faith in the Warriors with this set because of that. Like it's
Oh
not
yeah, I
just they
mean,
lost to the Levi's, it's they lost to the Levi's and the thing they brought in genetics to address stayed the exact same and their strength got worse.
I think after watching that pre-season tournament, pre-phase tournament, whatever that was, which the Warriors ended up winning, but you could even tell just of those games that they didn't look the same. They weren't going to be the same.
Right. But they're playing the
Um,
same style. Like
right,
the point
but
bringing
what
genetics
I'm
was so they
saying
could
is that
play a
you
different
could
style
tell at
better.
that point, that they weren't going to be as good as they were.
Right.
Like they clearly dropped off. I think they're still an elite team. I think they're going to finish probably top two or three teams, top half.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm sure they'll continue to shit on all the bad teams.
right.
Every team they're more talented than, they're going to steamroll. They brought in genetics to help them against the teams that are on, like, playing on fire so that at least in the moment are more talented than them. And then they just didn't even try to do that. Like, straight up, I have more faith in the Kings to win Worlds than I do in the Warriors after this set. Because the Warriors
Wow.
have not shown any ability to beat a team
No
that's playing
finishing
better than them.
potential.
And I believe the Kings could come up with a game plan to do that. I don't believe in the Warriors to be able to do that right now.
Yeah, I can. This iteration of the Warriors doesn't look like they're gonna fare well against these stronger teams.
Between the SCC and the SPL, there are 17 teams that having genetics would be better than having Jake. The one team it would be better to have Jake instead of genetics, they got rid of Jake to get genetics. Like that's just what happened. like
Yeah,
I saw
that's
somebody. Let me
another
see if I can find
crazy
it real
take.
quick. I forgot to bring it up before the pod, but somebody on Reddit I saw posted it in a way that like explains it really well. Let me see if I can find it. It should be like one of the most recent things I've uploaded. I don't upload anything on Reddit. Okay, that's not it. Maybe I saved it instead.
That had to have been born.
All right, I can't find it. Point is, he basically said like Jake is like a better scrapper than genetics is, which is what the Warriors do, right? Like he,
Right.
he's better at like that scrappy style the Warriors like to do. Randomly show up at the enemy's speed buff and
Yeah.
steal it. Like that's the type of way the Warriors like to play, right? And Jake was better at that than genetics. And it's like maybe genetics makes him more consistent, but like okay, here's the way I kind of think about it, like why this was like a bad idea for them, right? In poker, there is an optimal way to play. Depending on where you're sitting at the table, there's a certain amount, like there's certain hands you should play, and there's a certain amount you should bet on those hands, and like over a long period of time, you'll probably make money because that's like the optimal way to play, right?
Okay.
But if you just play optimally every time, your opponents are going to be able to figure that out, right? They're going to be like, okay, this guy has a good hand because he only plays good hands. So sometimes you got to play like a 2-5, that offsuited, just to like be like, oh, okay, that's a thing he plays. So that if on board there's or like the public cards, whatever you call them, there's 2 2s and a 5, and you go all in, the other person's like, well, shit, I've seen him play 2-5 before. What if he did it again? The Warriors spent like all last phase playing 2-5, and then signed genetics to make a public announcement to say they weren't going to do that anymore. Like, genetics, you bring, like, the Kings were a team that were playing the correct, most optimal way. And the Warriors were like, well, we're not going to do that, but we're just going to make it work anyways. Right? Like, they're in the first kickoff tournament, when Panatom waited at the doors for Scream to come out, there's no way that was the correct play. Like, 3 people could have come out and could have got blown up. You know, nobody could have come out from there for like 3 minutes and he misses out on a bunch of farm. But it worked out, and then every team from then on out had to be like, fuck, what if Panatom's just like hanging out right outside this door?
Right. I even watch for that in my games.
Right. Like, the Kings wouldn't be the type of team to do that, but the Warriors were, so you had to think about it. And, you know, with the Kings, it was like they would just slowly beat you down by playing the better style. With the Warriors, they'd beat you just by, like, doing random shit. And
Yeah,
that's
you
not
never
the
know
way
what's gonna
Genetics
happen.
plays, and that's why Jake was such a good fit compared to Genetics.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. He just fit the piece of the puzzle a little better.
Right. And like I said, there are 17 pro and semi-pro teams where Genetics would be a better player than Jake. It's just the Warriors are the one where that's not true.
The Warriors have the skill capabilities to be able to play that style.
Yeah, exactly.
And so was that brings my question, did Jake fit that team just because his teammates had the skill to bail him out of these crazy situations that he would get himself in?
I think it's the opposite. I think Jake fit that team because he had the skill set to bail them out of crazy situations.
See,
I mean, I guess it's kind of both, right?
right.
Because it's like right now it's Pagon going to the enemy yell by himself, and then when Awesome Jake was on the Bolts, it was him going to the speed buff by himself, and then when they were together, it was both going to the speed buff, not even making a call for it, just independently both being like, I want their speed buff, and then they would
Both
just like meet
surprised to
up
see
and
each
they'd be like, oh
other.
hey, what's up, buddy? Let's do some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, does that change any of your predictions for the rest of the season? Like now seeing what you saw, I think you have the Warriors sitting at 9-2 or
8-2.
8-2. Is that changing for you?
Probably not because their division's easy. Like, this is the only time this phase they face the Levi's.
Yep. Just so you think they're losing out to the Ferryman and that's it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are different games than I had them losing originally, but it'll
Right.
probably be something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe they
Glads.
still lose that last game to the Glads if they're already safe in the first place spot. Which I actually, with how good some of these other teams look, I don't think they will anymore. So they'll probably have to try in that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't foresee them losing to the Glads now, especially.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I mean, the Glads looked really bad this week, but I think there is room to bounce back.
man, you can say that. You're gonna say that every week, and it's gonna be the
Of
same
course, I'm a
outcome every
Glads
week.
fan.
You might catch
That
one or
doesn't mean
two.
I'm actually going to predict it. I'm just going to be hopeful that it's true.
Right.
I'm not going to predict the Glads again until they prove to me they can, but I do believe they can.
Okay.
I believe they have the capabilities to do it. I'm still
That's
not going to
fair.
predict them.
They do have 5 players on a keyboard.
They have what?
They've got 5 players, all with keyboards, man.
Yeah.
They got what it takes.
Oh, I think Snoopy, like they might be making him using like a joystick or something with how bad he is.
Yeah, some of these games for sure.
Although
His Yu Huang
little teaser for the highs and lows. Snoopy was not the worst Glads player this week.
Ish. That can't be good for Kana.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny that that's who it is.
Well, I can't think of who else it would be.
I flipped the script on Stewart.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Stewart
there's no way
Stewart was
making,
like the only one who actually had a good week.
There's no way you're making Jake or Stewart in that position, and then I know Kieran didn't play like that, so
I could have probably put Jake there. He played some pretty bad
Yeah,
games in
he
terms of the
looked
stat
rough.
line, but
I mean, in game, he was looking a little lost.
yeah,
I would say. Again, you're getting used to a new team. It all
yeah,
comes with it. But yeah, definitely not the best fight been that I've come to expect from him as of recent.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I watched any Glad's game this weekend. I didn't have time to just watch them get their shit rolled in six
Right.
games. Like,
There's
so I
no
was like,
point.
okay, I get it. But like, I feel
I
in
just
in
had
last week, like Jake was putting up bad stats, but like it didn't really feel like his fault. Like a lot of times he was getting somebody else out who would have died if he didn't save him.
man. I
You
still
know,
feel like you're not watching the games.
I mean, I that might have been different this week, but in week one, I felt like that was happening a lot. Like, yes, I didn't watch the games this week, so maybe that's the case this week. I don't know. I didn't watch them. I will admit that. But
Uh,
last week I watched the Glad set, and in that week, like I feel like Jake was
yeah, that was a
he was bailing
real
people out. I mean, his stats weren't even that bad last week
banging
either.
match.
But there was a couple games where his stats were bad, and I feel like
Yeah,
in those games he was bailing people out and stuff.
fair enough. What's something? This is like the Jake Stewart podcast. I feel like is what we need to rename this
Yeah,
because somehow we always get hyper focused on them for like 30 minutes.
I mean they're my two favorite players. I can't help it.
A little bias in there. Never hurt no one.
I don't think Kierme played great this week either, based on the stats. But like I said, I didn't watch the games.
No, um he kind of wasn't showing up for some of these games, and then I remember there was one game he played. I thought he played really well in. He was like the only reason they were still in it. Maybe it was the game three against the Ravens. I'm wanting to say. Yeah, he had a really good Hun Bats game. Stats don't show it, but
Yeah,
yeah, that guy looks. They look like they can do things when he is on, but he's just rarely ever on.
yeah.
Man, and I mean, did you hear any of the listening to the Gladiators? I think this could very well could have been last week too, so you could have seen this. But
Yeah,
they
I
did
think
the
I remember
Glads
you
listening,
mentioning it last week.
and no one said a word.
Oh, okay. Well, last week I think you said that like Jake was doing a lot of the talking.
Oh yeah, Jake was talking last week, but yeah, this week they did one listening, and as soon as they went to listening, um, someone died. Someone died at the very beginning, and then not a single word was said, and the rest of the Warriors or the rest of the Glads died, and the other team went and won the game. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
what a listening.
they straight up they this team needs Pagon so bad. They need a good mid who shot calls. Pagon was shot calling for the Warriors phase one.
Put Quig in mid, man. Yeah, I
Honestly,
know.
last week didn't we look and didn't he used to play mid? At this point, I would take it over
Probably.
Snoopy.
I remember. Yeah, but at that point, you start to put Pagon back, and it's like, oh yeah, well you put Pagon in mid, and then put SOT in the solo lane, and then put Netroid and carry, and
No, I'm not. No, no. I think Stewart's better than Netroid. Straight up, I actually do.
I know you do, and I'm not gonna get into that.
I wasn't the one who brought him
um,
up this time.
true. I'm sorry I mentioned his name. Uh,
Technically, you didn't actually say Stewart, but you said that
that's true. Yeah,
Netroid would
you're the
take.
one
You
who
said
brought him
Netroid
up.
would take the Gladiators carry role, which is Stewart.
Yeah,
So
I
you
knew as soon as
implied
that
it.
came out of my mouth, I knew that was a mistake. Um,
Yeah. Oh, sure. I think if you put Pagon in mid for the Gilded Gladiators, I think this team can actually be pretty good.
you
I
think
mean,
that's
like
enough
league
compared to your worst
average, not
player?
great, but like league average,
Yeah, I
which is a hell
know.
of a lot better than they are right now.
Right? Yeah, they're gonna take. It would take a lot for them to be average right now. Um, So, anything else stand out for you in the week? One
Uh,
game from the Kings, one game from the Ferrymen.
oh, those dragons after losing that game too, huh? Like they got lulled to sleep and then didn't wake up for the next two games
That
afterwards.
was a crazy. I forgot that hour and a half game.
Yeah,
Dude, that's gotta kill your mental though.
yeah.
To lose a game like that, I feel like.
No, the after that game. I mean, I guess not just after that game, but like in part because of that game. The Glads have the highest average game time by like a minute and a half.
The Glads do or
The
Dragons?
sorry, the Dragons. I don't know why Glads came out of my mouth. Nah, Glads
Yeah,
are
man.
losing real fast. They're the second shortest.
It's the Dragons game's been going so long and they
They
drag them
have.
out. They don't know how to win early and they don't know how to win late, and so they just drag out games.
The three
Drag,
longest
man.
game times, average game times, are the Dragons, Ferrymen, and Ravens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the three snooze fest teams.
Yeah. I mean watching what was it? Watching that the Ravens Dragons game, not fun. Um Same watching the any of the Gladiators games. It's just like I want to fall asleep, man.
The only reason watching the Ferryman play could ever be fun is if Paul is playing at his very best, and then you get to watch the greatest of all time do his thing.
Yeah, like
Like
art.
that is the only reason to ever watch the Ferryman. They
Right.
play such
And
a boring game, and it
he
wins.
hasn't been doing that. I do enjoy watching pick bands for the Ferryman though, because you
Right.
never know what you're
The
getting.
most fun part of the Ferryman's game is the pick ban, and I think that says a lot about how the Ferryman play.
Right. That's probably not a good thing if that's the most interesting part. But that means they're a top team while doing it. Uh, they're my top team while they're doing it, so that they've got something figured out at least.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
gonna spoil if they're my top team or not.
they better be.
Maybe,
No, I see Leviathans being there.
maybe they will be.
Do you wanna get into predictions and power rankings?
Should we do highs and lows first?
Yeah, if you. Oh yeah. Recap the
Alrighty.
week with this.
The highs and lows of the week. So the way we're gonna do this
Should we have a little song that goes with it? Should we have to sing a
it's
song
the
before
highs
Heisman?
and the lows. Does that work?
No. Okay. Again, in production. We'll figure it out next week.
Yeah. Oh, I'll force Amy to edit this because she offered
Okay.
one time like 3 months ago to edit one of
Yeah.
our pods. It has never said anything about it since. Oh, if I can convince her, I might have her edit the shorts version of this, which is
Yeah.
a plan. We're gonna do the highs and the lows. I'm probably gonna do lows first because that's the order I have it in my WordPad document.
Starting off with the
And
bad
then yeah,
stuff.
it's gonna be the under 60 seconds for the lows, under 60 seconds for the highs. We're gonna make
All
it
right. So it's like
short
a
so we can put it
speed
on Reddit,
round.
and it's gonna be three of each. So yeah, I'm gonna be going pretty quick here. All right.
All right. Hit me with it.
Alrighty. The lows of the week two, or I guess week 1 and 2 of the SPL. First off, in the third place spot, we got PBM.
Yikes.
In the set losing game 4 against the Ravens, he went 1-10-3, giving the Ravens over half of their kills for that game. The only reason this isn't higher is because he did steal Fire Giant. So
Wow.
gotta give him some
That's
credit for
helping him
that.
out.
In second place for the lows, there's Law Warriors I could have picked for this. Warriors had a pretty bad week, but I went or pretty bad week this week. But I'm going for Netroid because he's had a bad 2 weeks. He's second last in kill participation so far, And with the two gods he's played more than once, he is at less than 48% kill participation. Oath, Adapting, and Sino are the only three players who have done that are damage classes, I should say, that are doing less damage per game than him, and they each have at least 11 more kills. And Netroid is only ahead of Vote and Zapman in terms of deaths per game by a carry. Netroid's not had a good first 2 weeks. You should probably be playing better than that if you're gonna dump your support as a carry. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Wow. Yikes.
And then in first place, Kana. Rookies had a bad week. Week
I knew it was
one.
coming.
Week one. He went 8, 10, and 26 for 2.1 KDA. That's not too bad. Week two, though, 3, 23, and 16 for a 0.48 KDA. That was so bad it dropped him to 40th in KDA and 40th in kill participation for the FaZe so far. That's a big
Which is
oof.
last. Which is last.
I really hope that was under a minute. I didn't time it.
There's no way it was.
There's no way.
There's no way.
I had too much shit about Netroid.
I know the Netroid thing. You're kind of nitpicking a little bit. I'd say it looks like you kind of
Oh, I mean,
ostracized
there wasn't
him.
like one big thing that to like pick him out on, but he had a lot of things where it's like, okay, he's like the 32nd best player in the league. And there was like four different things that was the case for.
I was thinking more something like Panicat got soloed while 2 levels up.
Yeah.
That felt more like what this was going to be.
I mean, I felt like Netroid hasn't been very good so far, and his best set was honestly the one against the Leviathans. He did bad against the Ravens and against the Hounds.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think he's looked.
No, if it was just week 2, it would have been Netroid. All right. For the highs.
Time for the highs.
I'm gonna try to do it a little bit faster this time.
Oh, right. Okay.
The highs for week 1 and 2 of Phase 2 of the SPL. We got Haddix. He had an 8.0 KDA in week 2 after a bad week 1. He mitigated 52,000 damage per death and 36k damage taken per death. If he had 5k HP the whole game, just the damage he took, not even counting the mitigations, would mean he would have had to have taken enough damage to die 7 times for each time he actually died. Crazy. In second place is Twig. The 14 game... I wrote these words in the wrong order. The 14 kill game 2 against the Glads elevates him to the highest kills per game so far this season, as well as the 3rd best KDA. In first place, Showtime Shinto. You've heard of Playoff Paul? Now you're hearing about Showtime Shinto. 82, 32, and 92 so far, putting him at 23 kills above second place. Not only that, but he's 45, 19, and 50 against the 2 teams that made Masters finals in the last Masters a couple months ago. And that's despite his team being 3 and 4 in those 7 games.
Boom. Pause.
Boom. I think that one was close, but I think I got it.
That one went faster. That one was I was riding that high from it too.
Yeah.
I really felt elevated.
Yeah.
There for a second.
The Showtime Shinto, you like that? That's his
that was a good
name.
one.
Showtime Shinto.
Shohei Oshinto.
That's so much better. Shinto Otani.
Shinto Otani.
That's so much better. Yeah, no, 45, 19, and 50 against those games, against the 2 teams that made it to Masters finals is crazy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So far this phase, he's 35, 14, and 25 in losses. He's averaging 7 kills, less than 3 deaths, and 5 assists in each loss.
Yeah, he's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I didn't calculate what he's been doing for just the wins, but
good enough.
Yeah,
every time watching that guy, it's a treat. Yeah. At least recently, it has been.
It'd be
last
like
phase, it was like
47, 18, and a fuckload of assists. I'm not gonna worry about the assists. It's a lot. It's like
Many.
70.
Many,
Yes, and wins.
many,
So
many.
he is doing better in wins, but that loss stat line is still insane.
Yeah,
And most of the way he's doing better is assists, which aren't really as much up to him because somebody else has to actually kill.
yeah. He's doing all the damage though.
That is true.
To be fair,
Isn't that crazy though? That
oh,
despite how many kills Shinto has, Twig has the highest kills per game so far in this phase.
that is insane. Honestly, Twig last week looked good, right? He
Yeah,
played but they played the Gladiators. But
yeah,
what game two is this? Is pop off game
yeah.
14
I
and
w-
one?
for a
Hello,
second, I
Twig,
was also gonna have Yarkor in there because he had a 10 KDA in week two, but I didn't want to have two Kings in there after they faced the Glads,
dude. You
so they
should have
missed
seen
out.
this. I want to make sure this was this game. It was this game. Game one, Kings Glads. Kings step up to take left Phoenix from the Gladiators. The Gladiators put up a really good defense, push all of them back. They kill two people, push them back. Yarkor's running on Freya. He's playing Freya. Yarkor's running up lane. Um, I think Kierme on Rat dashed in on him. Yarkor turns around, procs his two, killed Kierme, Jake, and Kana all in one burst of his two.
Yeah,
And then Stuart and Stoopy were like, "Oh, we can't be here." Then left.
yeah,
That guy's nuts.
yeah. That's crazy.
Same with
Yeah, I don't know.
it's hard. It's hard to tell how good of a week a team's having if they just play the Gladiators.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
say that
fair.
much.
But I wanted to see if 14 kills in a game was how many people had done better than that this year, and I couldn't figure out how to find it on
The
Blues
Ultra Sheet.
Ultra's sheet. Yeah, shout out to Blues Ultra, by the way. He's the goat. But I feel like that's got to be like top five kills in a game, right? For this season, anyways.
14
Yeah, that's like a lot.
in one game. Oh yeah, yeah. It's got to be top three, I'd imagine, if
Yeah,
not number
I was
one.
wondering if it was one, but I didn't want to have to search through every single game
See, and that's where
for
I think
both phases.
Panatom put up or adapting put up like a couple 15s or
Yeah, something like that. Probably.
you know
Quit. I mean, it's against the Glads, but I mean, you also have to remember that in regular phase games, the Kings were 0-1 against the Glads before this. So
really.
yeah, because
I
remember that's
remember
how they
because
started
that one loss
their
spiraled them. I do
badness.
remember
Yeah.
that.
And then I think the only other time they played them this year was in the first kickoff tournament where they beat them. So they were 1-1 against the Glads going into this.
This tiebreak. This it's official. The Kings are better than the Glads
Yeah.
as of now. We didn't know that before.
Going back to the Glads thing, that is kind of why I still have hope of them is because I kind of feel like Connors had like a really bad week, like
Right.
a really bad week. Cause like point 0.4 KDA, 0.48 KDA, excuse me. Like that's a like I think I could do better than that on average in the SPL. That's like really bad.
Wow. Yeah, he definitely looked rough. Not a good idea of what's going on. Which I mean, what he's a this is his second week ever playing at the
Yeah.
highest level of Smite.
Yeah, I mean, he also just like wasn't involved in a lot that was positive for his team. It's like he was 40th in kill participation in the entire league. Kierme is like second, and Stewart and Jake are tied for fifth. So it kind of seems like those three are like basically being forced to 3v5 right now.
Yeah,
Because Snoopy was pretty
it's
low as well because he's always dead. So if Kana can just like do a bit
Snoopy's
better
another
job with
guy who
assisting,
has good games, but man, he just looked rough. Like wasn't doing anything
yeah,
all weekend.
yeah.
It does amaze me that Kana somehow put up a worse stat line than Snoopy though. So
Yeah.
shout out to him for that.
No, his week was very bad. I don't know what Snoopy's stat line actually was for last week, but I know his stat line for week one wasn't good either, and he has a Con has a worse KDA than him on the face. So, because I mean, like 8, 10, 26, that's a good stat line. That's what he had last week.
He went 2-12 in game 2 this week, and then went 6-15 the first game. So 6-15 plus what 3-12 I
Yeah,
said. 9-27
yeah. No, he's
on the
definitely
week.
died a lot more than Kana, but Kana's not didn't get any kills.
Yeah.
By the way, fun fact: the
Oh
only two people with a worse kill partition, fuck, holy shit,
well.
worse kill participation than Netroid are the two solos for the two teams who haven't won a set yet.
Ah,
Kana and Ducky are the
which
only
makes
people with
sense.
worse kill participation than Netroid.
I feel like the solo lane's the farthest out of
Yes,
the
for
way of
sure.
anything. So solo
Most of the
laners
solos
are
have bad kill participation.
yeah, they're more displaced from everything. And if your team is losing and not playing well,
Yeah,
which is crazy because Ducky played really good this weekend, I thought.
yeah. Like, I don't know. I
But
just shitting on Netroid is a little weird. It's not like he necessarily like on the surface things like don't look that bad, but I didn't really have time to explain it in the 60-second
right, yeah,
segment.
stuff like that. It's hard to do because you have
Right.
to.
Yeah. No. I think from now on I'll definitely try to make it simpler because I don't really think
Was
that
that was
works.
that the one you're talking about before? Hand
Yeah. It's the one that kind of ended up getting shoved in because I was struggling to find one that fit real well. And
fill
like
another.
yeah, like for me it's the fact that he's not participating in fights. Right? Like he's lower than every other carry.
Yeah,
But also like he's
that's
dying more
strange.
per game than the other carries. And the Warriors have like the shortest average time per game by like 2 minutes. And he's still dying more than everybody per minute than everybody
Yeah, I'm
per
sure he's
game
fine.
than Zap and Vote. So like he's dying a lot and he's not in the fights. Like I don't know, I mean, or he's just like dying early in them, which is bad
Right,
because
you'd
he's
have
the
to be like
carry and he's
dying
the one who's supposed to
first.
siege.
He's doing the damage,
He's
so
not
that's
though.
not
His damage is
ideal.
low.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not ideal if he's because he's the one they
Right.
need to do the damage.
Right. He's kind of just like not doing anything is the
Did you
problem.
see when Ducky got trapped? Ducky got body blocked against the Leviathans. Let me try to pull up this game. Ducky was hurt. Was it game one? Maybe it would have had to been or game one or three. Either one of those. Ducky was on hurt. I know there's a Bracken, so it would have been game three. Game three, Leviathan Sounds. Go check it out somewhere in there. Ducky pushes four people into a corner, gets cornered with them. So he can't move. He's literally stuck between four people. It was everyone besides Panda Cat. So everyone besides the ADC couldn't even dent his health bar with four people there.
That's
They
crazy.
they had him there for 10 seconds, couldn't kill him.
That's crazy.
Oath ended up showing up and getting him out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. And that was the only game they won. Yeah, the dude was like invincible. It was insane.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know how I got to that. That was just that was my high.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was one of my high points this week.
Yeah. I think I mean we don't know what the situation is with getting rights to clips. That's why
Wiz.
we did more like stats things.
Right.
If I think it'd be cool if we are allowed to like use the clips and stuff. If like you
Which
did individual moments and then I did the stats or something like
the
that.
stats behind, yeah.
Yeah, I think that could
Yeah,
be
we could
cool.
pull something like that off. I'll grab clips for it this week. See if we can throw it together. Yeah, this is more of like an off podcast thing.
Yeah,
Video clips coming in the
we're
future.
figuring this out. It's gonna take some
If
time
it's
to
not
develop
night
this.
clips, it's homemade videos from me and Alex.
Yep.
Look out for those.
We're gonna simulate what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you some jungle practice clips.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna give some do we do power rankings? I always forget, do we do power rankings or predictions first?
I think we normally do power rankings.
Okay. Good. Give me your so coming in this week, I think my list has very few tweaks. Teams moving up and down one, no big jumps like the weeks before. You think you could say the same for yourself? Do you have
Yeah,
some
I'd say
crazy
that's fair.
moves?
Are any of these that crazy? I mean, you could argue there's one big jump, but that team should have been where they were anyways. So.
Yeah. I think I know who that is.
Yep. The Ravens. They're going from 8th to 20th.
Second. You have them first?
Hmm?
You have the Ravens first?
No.
I
I
already
was
wrote
making
it.
a joke.
So
I had him 8th last week, so I was making a joke. Like, I'm dropping the Ravens even further.
they're getting lower.
Yeah, I'm putting them at 20th.
Okay, I think I know where your Ravens are,
Okay.
but give me your one first.
My one is the Ferryman.
See, I was honestly, this wasn't my first spot for you to change something, but I could have seen a world where you had Leviathans number one, and I wouldn't have argued against it.
Yeah.
But I also
The
have
Ferrymen
Ferryman.
haven't given me any reason to not put them one, and they beat the Levi's. So, like,
Yep.
it would be the Levi's if that set hadn't happened. You know what I mean? Like, if the
Right.
Levi's had like a loss to somebody else and it was just a bad set, then the Levi's would be one. But because they specifically lost to the Ferryman, I have the Ferryman at one.
Okay. I like it. I'm right there with you. So number two, Leviathans.
Yep.
Okay. Same top two so far. We're starting off strong, Alex.
Yep.
Which is the only change or the first change from last week because we both had Warriors number two.
Yes.
And so I'm guessing it just shifts the Warriors down to three.
Yep. That's what I got.
All right. Warriors at three. I like it. Just lost a head to head against the Levi's. Still looked dominant. Or looked like a top caliber team. The Levi's had the they got the phone call. Santa Claus called. Who was calling? The the president.
Yep. The president called.
The president called.
How that dictates.
Warriors just had to lose that.
Yeah.
Number four. Okay. Tell me, do you have the Kings?
I have the Kings.
I don't.
Oh. Interesting. So you have the
See,
Ravens then.
I do have the Ravens there.
That's the only logical other team to be there.
Yep. And I will say the Ravens lost their head to head actually 3-0 to the
Yeah,
Kings.
like
So that
very
doesn't look
convincing. I don't know what you're doing.
very convincing. Here's what I'll say. I told you it was going to take a while for that Ravens team to kind of come together. I said I didn't think they were going to win any of their first week matches. I think that was just a first week match kind of thing. I think they run it back.
Counterpoint, they have beaten the Glads and the Dragons.
True,
Bad.
which are counterpoint my two bottom teams, or along with that. So yeah,
Yes.
I I see where this is crazy, and I feel like I'm high on the Ravens right now. I
went
got it right
very
last week.
basic power rankings this week, so I'm glad you took the ranks and did something fucking insane. I
That's
appreciate
not even
that.
that's not even nearly as crazy as half of the stuff you do on a
No,
regular
that's true,
basis.
but I went like super basic, so we needed a little bit of crazy.
Okay.
We needed at
Ravens
least
better than
something.
Kings. I definitely had to think about that one, but so I'm guessing that puts your Ravens at 5.
Yes.
Okay.
I almost memed and put the Hounds above them.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't because I think that's crazier than having the Ravens above the Kings.
I mean, maybe, but here's the thing. I still don't know what the Hounds are. They've faced the Leviathans, Ferrymen, and Warriors. It's like, okay, they're not going to beat those teams. Nobody but those three teams are going to beat them. So
Yeah,
it's like, how good are the Hounds really? I don't think we actually know
we don't
yet.
know yet.
They haven't, yeah, they haven't gotten a chance to show us what they are yet. Who they lose
But
to in the tournament? Was it one of those teams as well?
fair, Ferryman?
It was the Levi's.
Oh, what?
So yeah, no. Since they lost Quig and replaced him with Neilma, they have not faced a team that you could reasonably expect them to be able to beat. This
And
week
they've
will be
looked.
the real test. We'll see how good they actually are this week, in my opinion.
Yep,
'Cause, I
I
mean,
like that.
I mean, Benny Q's been pretty terrible since Quig left, to be honest. But like Ducky's still been playing really good. Coast has actually kind of been like out of his mind, if I remember correctly, based on the stats.
See, and really, it looks bad because there were some of these games where Benny Q's stat line looks bad, but he's out here like 10,000 damage above the next highest damage person in the match.
Yeah,
And he's
so
like
he's
0 and
just
3.
dying a lot. That's fair.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
think
really
I think he was
sure
playing better last
where
last
this team is right now. It's so hard to place them based on what we see.
but as of now, I think that leaves them sitting at 6th.
Yes, even though they haven't won yet, the three teams they've lost to, I'm not gonna knock them for, and I
Right. You
am gonna
can't.
knock the Dragons for losing to the Ravens and almost losing to the Glads and losing to. I mean, the Leviathans are a good team, but they
Yeah.
lost very convincingly.
Yep.
So
I remember I texted you as soon as I watched because we did our power rankings, and then I watched like a Hound set, and I texted you and I said the Hounds are definitely better than the Dragons now. After watching that, I do think that. I don't know what the hell happened to the Dragons, but I'm grouping them with the Gladiators right now. They
you
look
know,
off.
you know how people always say the Ferrymen don't care about the regular season.
Yeah, the Dragons.
But yeah, that is the Dragons. Like, and I actually think the Ravens actually like kind of care. They just always like, they just never inform or anything like that. You know what I mean? They just always are hitting a cold patch during the regular season. It feels like they've just been kind of unlucky. Because I mean, they were in since Paul Aurora and Cyclone Spin have joined up. They were like second once, so it's not like they're always bad, right?
Right.
I think like the Dragons like actually just do not give a fuck. Like at this point, Vote, Darnus, and Nika are like, all right, like we made it to Worlds Finals before and we didn't do it. Like we don't care about anything else. We just want that Worlds Final. We're not gonna give a shit until it's Worlds.
But
I
they,
think that's their attitude.
yeah, I don't like it.
Me neither.
Does that leave them at 7 or 8? You tell me.
I mean, what do you have them at?
I have the Dragons at 7.
Yeah,
They beat the Glads
same.
in a head to head, and I think it was only close because the Dragons threw it a little bit.
Same.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about that. I actually think the Glads played really well, but I mean for the Glads, anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I have these two in kind of a group of their own in my mind right now.
yeah, that's fair. Can it not be fair though?
It could not be, but I think it is. That's what I have to say about it.
Yeah, I want the Glads to be good so
Very
bad,
so
man.
our list was very similar this week. We just had the Ravens and Kings switch, which
Yeah,
I think for now the Kings should probably be above Ravens, but
that's not what you
no,
did.
that's all I have to say.
You're counter pushing on me shitting on him last week by overrating him this week.
Counterplay. No. All right. Predictions.
Predictions.
This is where it really gets nitty and gritty, I think is what they call it. Okay. Warriors Kings. Give me
Warriors.
Warriors 3-1.
I will Warriors 3-1 as well. That makes a lot of sense. That feels right.
Thank you. That's exactly what I thought in my mind as well.
I think I think come Worlds time, oh, those Kings, they're gonna fuck them up something fierce. Let me tell you. But right
Yeah,
now,
they're gonna get together. That's a good team.
it is. It not only is it a very good team, I incredibly trust them to come up with a game plan to beat the more talented teams than them.
Yeah.
I think the
They
Levi's, the Ferrymen, and the Warriors are more talented than them. I trust them to come up with a plan to overcome that.
should if Twig keeps playing how he's playing.
Yeah, maybe.
Dragons
Maybe he'll
Ferryman.
prove me wrong. Dragons Ferryman? Give me the Ferryman 3-0.
Yeah. That's what I
Dragons
have.
are gonna sleep.
They
Honk,
are not gonna
schnoo,
get
honk.
right. It's nothing's happening that game. I'm not watching that one
I saw
actually.
somebody on Reddit saying that if this Dragons team broke up, like that Nika Darda's vote core, there's a chance that Nika's the only one who would stay in the league. I saw
I can
somebody
see
on
that.
Reddit say it. Yeah, and like the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, that's possible.
I would
Because like
imagine Dardos would
I
stay.
mean, the problem is like who comes in for Dardes, right? Because it's like Crimson, but like surely Crimson's gonna be coming in for Snoopy already, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Dardes
that's what
just
happens
because of
every
their lack of
offseason. The
talent.
teams switch up so much.
Yeah,
Anything could happen.
yeah, and then like vote, like I don't know.
That guy's old. It's
Yeah,
probably about he probably is about done if I had to guess.
yeah. They're probably all about done, frankly.
Yeah.
They've been in here forever.
I don't know. Something needs to happen with them. They either all need to retire or
I still think
break up.
Nika's pretty good, honestly.
No, they need to switch teams. That's been needing to come for years.
Yeah, and sadly, I don't think it will.
Yeah. After they had to play in together, come on, that should have been a sign right there.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Kings
we're saying
Leviathans.
this. They've
Oh,
made it to at least the second round of every tournament they've been in this year.
yeah, that's true. They did that last year. Or no, I lied. They did that last year.
Yeah, they got eliminated in the first round by the
The
Dragons
Dragons.
last year, ironically
Yep.
enough.
Yep, I remember that.
Can't beat them, join them.
Yeesh.
Which,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
kind of
really, if you
funny.
think about it, it's the other way around. PBM joined the team he beat.
Right. Exactly. No one on the Dragons was still there.
Yeah. Oh, people are saying that with how bad this Dragons team has been since he left, that Cherio's the most underrated player in the history of the league. They're like he dragged these guys to a World's Finals by himself.
Yeah, was Nika in that World's Finals?
I think so. I don't know, but
I don't think so.
I think it was the Nico vote Dardes core and then Cherio and a support.
And A support.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be. I wasn't watching, and I was like, I didn't even know Smite existed when that finals happened. Like,
Right, exactly. Right. We were not paying attention to this stuff.
anyways, moving on.
Yes. Leviathans. Camelot Kings. You came how much? Look, give me Leviathans 3-1.
Man, that sucks because I'm really big on this Kings team. I kind of
They
feel
they
like they
have a
win
hard
one
week.
of these.
They have a hard week.
They do. They do have a hard.
They're 2-0 as we speak, so it's about time they have a hard week,
Man,
you
this is
know?
gonna suck because like they're gonna lose, and then you're gonna feel justified in putting the Ravens above them, and then the Ravens are like somehow gonna upset the Ferrymen, and you're gonna feel really justified in it, even though they're definitely worse.
That's not what I have happening, but
I think the Kings win one of these sets. I just don't know which one. I guess I'll say this one since I already said the Warriors are winning the other one, so I'll say like Kings 3-2. I think the Kings win one of these and make a statement.
I think they have a better chance of winning against the Warriors. That
I
would
do
be a
too,
cool
but I
one
don't
for
want to
them to
make you
win.
cross out your sheet again because I always do that. So I'll just
That
say it for the
one,
Levi's.
that would be a good one for them to win. For the whole drama behind it.
Yeah.
Warriors or skipped one.
I know
Ravens, Ferryman.
there's kind of drama between the Kings and Levi's as well. The Kings turned down Panda Cat.
But that's understandable, man.
Yeah, I know it
Like
is.
he was like, haha, imagine kind of thing. And they're
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I
no.
know, but I mean, it's trouble. It's trouble.
Ah,
Trouble. It's a jump scare.
Ferryman Ravens.
Uh,
Give me with it.
give me Fairman. 3-0. Fairman team sucks. No, actually, at 3-1. 3-1. The Ravens will get a game. 3-1.
Okay. I had Ferryman 3-2.
I don't think they'll get 2 games.
I don't either. I don't know where I put that, but it's too late. It's a pen.
Yeah.
It's 3-2. Um, yeah, the more I'm starting to look at this, the less I'm thinking the Raven. I like the Ravens, but here we are. Uh, Warriors Glads. Come on now.
Do you
Don't.
smell what the
I
rot
don't. I
is
already
cooking?
wrote Warriors for you, so don't change it.
Give me the Glads to lose 3-0.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I have. I already wrote that for you anyway, so I'm glad you went with it.
Thank you.
And finally, Dragons Hounds.
Give me. I really hope the Hounds win this and the Ravens lose, so I can put the Hounds above the Ravens next week and keep being a Ravens hater this
No,
phase.
see that would make sense. I would get behind that. If the Hounds win this one right here, if the Hounds win,
Right.
but they're beating the Dragons,
Right.
man.
Exactly. But I could justify it because they won.
You could figure a way around it.
Yeah. They'd only lost to really good teams, and their one game against a not really good team, they won. That
No,
would
I
be
can't
how
wait.
I would phrase it for sure.
Not this week, but the next week
Honestly,
coming.
fuck this shit ass Dragons team. The Hounds are winning this 3-0. Fuck it. I don't care.
Jesus, I
Fuck them. Like, I can't
I
be
can see
asked to
it.
give the Dragons a game here. It's 3-0 Hounds.
I gave them one game, but
I can't be asked. I can't be asked to say that word. That
right.
number.
Enough about your ass. Dragons or Hounds 3-1. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not going to bet a single game on this Dragons team until I am given any sort of reason to.
Right. Remember last phase when I had the Dragons unranked after they lost to the Glads? Those were good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. They might hit that point this year. They're dropping fast. What they went from
Yeah, they already
let's
had their
let's
only game
see
against the
actually.
Glads though, so they can't lose to the Glads again.
You had Dragons ranked for the phase. You have Dragons in third. I have Dragons in fifth.
Yeah,
To start
I
off,
made the same exact mistake as last phase,
two
huh?
2 weeks in, we both have them at 7.
Yeah. And they won
Not
one of
not
their
a good.
games. They won one of their sets. Or they're 1-2. Yeah, I don't. It's
I
just
can't. I can't stand it. I don't know something about that core.
they're
They're
just a
so
tournament team. They're a tournament team.
they're boring to watch, man.
That too. They're
Which is
boring
crazy
and they're
because normally PBM's teams are fun and exciting, but then he had to join the 3 most boring smite players.
yeah. Man, dude, sure, I want Nico to leave this core and go somewhere else, and then become everybody's favorite player.
Yeah, that would help so many people out. It'd probably help him. His teammates would be better with new player. He'd be better with new team.
Yeah. We'd
Um,
get to see new people in mid and carry.
yeah,
Maybe.
maybe
Probably
we don't
not.
know that
Dardes
for sure.
probably like plays in or some shit. It's gonna be like Dardes. Do you think Inbound's gonna try to play in again, or do you think he's done?
Since he's a caster, I doubt it. Honestly, at
Yeah,
that point, I feel like once you become a caster, you're like, I'm done.
yeah. I don't know. Hey, you know what? In the NFL, Jason Witten was a caster for 1 year. Was really bad. And went back to the Raiders, and it was really bad and retired.
That would suck. You just can't find a good place to stop at.
Yeah, yeah. He got real old.
I hate
Uh,
it when it happens.
he was still really good when he was old until he left and came back. To be honest, goat tight end. That's my opinion. Jason Witten's the goat tight end.
What? Who is even on Raiders?
Most of his
Who
career was
has to
with the
be?
Cowboys.
Oh, that's why you know.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know.
Uh, you know,
He was very good.
I think I feel like last week we were talking about Nika as well. near the very end,
Probably.
right? Didn't we hit one with some? We hit some stupid. There's a stupid. What's that saying? What's that thing we do at the end?
I don't know. What is it, John?
I can't crack.